Hi and welcome to Festive Franklins. So I'm going to show you today how you can make one of these very cute crocheted stockings to hang on your fireplace or wherever you choose to at home. It's really simple. It's just using granny stitch, some double crochets, some half treble crochets and some back post and front post as well. So it's nothing too tricky. You will need a 4mm hook, some double knit yarn. I haven't got any more of the Kelly Green yet. I've been making so many Christmas things, so I'm going to use this minty green today to show you. And then you'll also just need a darning needle. So that's a large-eyed needle with a blunt tip. Yep. So you're going to start off with the cream colour. So I'll get some of this out ready to go. There we go. Find the end of it. And you're going to start off by making a slip knot in whichever your preferred method is. There we go. And then you're going to put that on your hook. Now I don't like to use a magic ring. I always find it comes undone. This is my method for doing rings. So I'm going to do a chain 4. And then I'm going to join down into my first chain with a slip stitch. And now I've got a ring that I can work into the middle of. And if you work over your tail as you go, then at the end you can pull on the tail and it cinches the ring in anyway. So it's I find this is better and more secure. So once you've done your chain 4 and you're joining with your slip stitch, the next thing you're going to do is a chain 2. And this now counts as your first stitch. And then you're going to do 11 half treble crochets into the ring. So a half treble crochet, we're going to go around and in, pull up a loop and bring it through, round and through all 3. Yeah. So the first one counts as a stitch, the chain 2. Then our first half treble crochet obviously is a stitch. We've now got 2, so we need to do in total another 10. Oh. There we go. Do you want me back in a sec when we've got 12 of these in total on our ring? So there we go. So we've now got 12 stitches that were done into the middle of the ring, and because I worked on the tail, worked around the tail as I went, if I now pull on the tail it will pull the hole closed. Yes, nice and easy, and then you can just weave that tail in when you're done. Okay, so to finish off this round we're going to join into the top of the starting chain 2. So that's my first leg, that's my second leg. Lovely stuff. So that's the end of the second round. So for the third round we're going to do a chain 2, and then we're going to do a half treble crochet back down into the same stitch that we just did our chain 2 out of. There we go. So we've now got the equivalent of 2 stitches in the first stitch, and then we're going to work around doing 2 half treble crochets in each of the previous stitches, so we're doubling the number of stitches on our round. So into the next stitch, and I'm going to do 1 and back into the same stitch, another. So you're going to repeat that all the way around, 2 stitches in each of your previous stitches, so you should end up with 24. Here we go. So we've just come around. I've now got 24 stitches in this row. So what I'm going to do again is just join to the top of the starting chain 2, which is this one here. So I'm going to put my hook through there to join. Lovely. So then for the next row we're going to chain 2. We're going to work another half treble back down into the same stitch. And then in the next stitch we're just going to do 1 half treble. And then in the next stitch we're going to do 2. And then in the next stitch we're going to do 1. So we're now alternating 2 half treble, 1 half treble, 2 half treble, 1 half treble all the way around, and you'll end up with 36 stitches. So I'll join you again in a sec when we've got that. There we go. So I've now got 36 half trebles, alternating 2 and 1 in each of the previous stitches all the way around. Same thing now, I'm going to join into the top of my starting chain 2 with a slip stitch. There we go. And then this time we're going to chain 2. You're not going to work another stitch into that first stitch, you're just going to start working now into the second stitch, and you're going to do a half treble crochet. and you're going to work a half treble crochet into each of the stitches around. So we're going to stay on 36 stitches at the end of this row. I'll join you again in a sec. Lovely, so I've just finished doing one half treble crochet in each of the stitches around, and as you can see, what starts to happen is it starts to form a kind of a bowl shape, like it starts to dome in because we're not increasing anymore. It starts to bring it in again, which is what we want to make our kind of toe shape. So then we're going to slip stitch again into the top of the starting chain 2, like that, and then we're going to do another 2 chain. And you're going to do exactly the same thing for this next row. So you're going to do one half treble crochet in each stitch around. So we're not going to do another one in this starting one. We're going to go into the next stitch and do a half treble crochet and then a half treble crochet in each of the stitches all the way around. So again, you'll end up with 36 stitches at the end. So again, I'll join you again in a sec when we've done that. Okay, so that's the end of our row, and then again you're going to join with a slip stitch at the top of the chain 2, but this time we're going to be changing colour to the green. So the best way to do that is to take your new yarn and just hook it over your crochet hook and slip the new yarn through to make the slip stitch like that, and then you start working with the new green colour. I have to pull on that white a little bit to cinch it in a bit, but we can weave those in a sec. There we go. So then for the next row we're going to chain 3 and then do a treble in the same space. So I'm going to come through here, and I'm just going to work over those ends to kind of weave them in as I go. There we go, so we've got a chain 3 and then a treble in the same space, and then you're going to skip 2 stitches, so not this one and not this one. You're going to work into this one here, and you're going to do 3 trebles. Lovely. And then this is your granny stitch. Basically these 3 trebles in a group is called a granny cluster. So what you're going to do is just continue around. So again, you're going to skip 2 stitches, so not this one, not this one. You're going to work into this one here, and again you're going to do 3 trebles into that next stitch. Skip 2 stitches and 3 trebles. And this is the main pattern for this granny stitch. It's really, really easy. So you're just going to repeat that all the way around. So I'll join you again at the end. There we go. So we've worked all the way around with our granny clusters. You should finish off with 2 stitches again, which you can skip. And then we're going to work back into the starting stitch here. I can get my hook into it. And we're going to make another half treble crochet there to join, and then we're going to join into the top of our starting chain, which is hiding over here. There we go. So that makes your final granny cluster. Then you're going to slip over into this space. You need to work in a space. So you've got 2 options here. If you want to continue carrying your yarn up so you haven't got hundreds of ends to weave in at the end, which is always my preference, then you do this. If you don't want to, if you don't mind weaving in ends and you want a cleaner finish, then you can fasten off your yarn here and then just pick up your white again here and start with a new colour as a colour change. But I'm all for an easy life, so I'm going to slip stitch over into this hole here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my cream for the end of that slip stitch. So then I'm working cream again, and then you just repeat. So you're going to do 3 chain, and then you do a treble back into the same space, and then again you skip your next stitches and you work into your chain space, and you're going to do another 3 trebles in there. And that's all there is to it. So you're going to work around doing trebles in each of your chain spaces. So skip this next bit and do another 3 trebles in here all the way around. When you come back round, you'll be finishing here with 3 trebles, and then you'll do 1 more treble into this starting space, slip stitch to the top of this, and then slip over and pick up your green again in this one to do your next row. Easy peasy. So you need in total 9 rows of the granny stitch pattern, finishing with a green. So I'll do a little bit more. I won't do the whole 9 rows, we'll be here all day, but I'll do another couple to get back to green, and then I'll show you how to do the heel. So I'll see you again in a sec. Okay, so I've done another couple of rows of the granny stitch, so let's just pretend there are 9 of these rather than 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. So you want 9 of them in total, finishing in a green. And then you're going to fasten off both of your colours. Just to stop anything from unravelling. You can weave in the ends at the end. And then because if you're carrying your yarn up, you get a slight jagged colour change where you can see here, you can see the colour changes and they run up diagonally, it kind of goes round. So I like to try and keep those along the bottom of the stocking if I can. So that's why for the next step, when we do the heel, it says count back 14 stitches and join the white between 2 granny clusters. So I'm going to basically count back like this and go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, kind of 14 here-ish. And I'm going to join the yarn here. So I'm keeping the cluster, the bit with the colour change, kind of towards the bottom of my stocking, basically. So I'm going to take my white yarn. If you're not worried about jagged colour changes, if you haven't carried the colour up, then this bit doesn't matter so much. You can join it wherever you like. But you're going to join your white between 2 granny stitches. Right, so I'm going to join my white yarn here in between 2 of the granny stitch clusters, and then I'm going to crochet along in each of the stitches, half treble crochets, like this, and I'm working into the stitches rather than into the spaces between the granny stitches. So for example here, I could work down into here, but I'm not, I'm working into the stitch. Yeah, you're going to keep going until you've got 5 of the granny stitches that you've crocheted into, and then you've done another stitch onto the end. There we go. So that's the start of the heel. So I've done a stitch here into the space between the granny clusters. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that we've crocheted into, and then I've got 1 more half treble crochet here at the end between these granny clusters. So that's your first row of the heel. Then you're going to chain 2. You're going to turn your work, and you're going to do a half treble crochet into each of the stitches along. Now your chain 2 counts as a stitch, so you're then going to work into the next stitch along for your half treble crochets all the way along, like that. Lovely. So that's the end of row 2. We've just half treble crocheted all the way along. Now all you have to do for the heel, it's really simple, is do another 4 rows of half treble crochet. The only thing is, in the last row in the middle, you're going to half treble crochet 2 stitches together. So for example, if you do another 3 rows, this is what you then do on the 4th row. So you're going to chain 2 and turn. You're going to work half treble crochets along, and then so we'd be half trebling that and half trebling that. Yep. So once you've done 5 stitches, you're then going to do a half treble crochet 2 together. So you've got 5 stitches and then through 2. So I'll show you that again. So you're going to go round and in and pull up a loop, round, in, pull up a loop, and then round and through all 5 stitches. So we've now done a decrease in the middle just to kind of draw the heel in a little bit, and then you're going to continue along with your half treble crochets all the way to the end. There we go, top of the starting chain. Lovely, and you can see it starts to draw the heel in a little bit, so it automatically wants to come together to form kind of a heel shape. Lovely, so once you've done that final row, you've got a couple of options in terms of how you join the back of the heel together. You can either pinch it together like this, and then you can just turn your work over, and you can slip stitch it together if you want to, but then you get a kind of a ridge that's obvious on the inside, so you could turn it inside out and slip stitch it together if you wanted to. That would be probably a little bit kind of easier. So what I would do is I'd do a chain, and then I would turn, and then I would work back in through that first stitch into the top of that first stitch there, so that's my gap, and then I would just slip stitch them together. And if you do it inside out, it means you don't get an obvious ridge on the outside, you get it on the inside, which you're not going to see anyway. So it just looks a little bit cleaner. You could darn these together as well if you wanted to, rather than doing a slip stitch, but that's what it looks like on the inside, oh sorry, on the outside when it's done. So it's kind of nice and neat. Then you're going to cut your yarn, weave in those ends in a sec, but that's your heel created, which is this bit here on the stocking. Obviously mine's a bit shorter because I didn't do as many rows just for this example. So that's your heel. And then what you're going to do is pick up again in the white and start your next row of your granny stitch. Okay, so we're going to turn our work so the heel is up in the kind of the top left hand corner, and then you're going to be joining back into here. So we're going to take our white yarn, make a slip knot, and you're going to join to the bottom right hand corner here. Oh, there we go, tighten it up. Then you're going to chain 3 and then do a treble back down to the same space. Then you're going to start working over the heel. Now you need to make 4 granny clusters all the way over the heel. Now my heel isn't quite as long as yours because I didn't do as many rows, but for example you would pick a spot and do 1, 2, 3, and then jump forward a little bit more and do another 3, and in total you want 4 granny clusters over the length of your heel. Yeah, like this. So you can see we've got 1 here at the start where we just joined our yarn back on again, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 across the heel, and then we do another granny cluster in the end corner as well. So we've joined here, we've done 1, 2, so we'll do our 3rd cluster here. Like I say, you'd have slightly more space between your clusters because you'd have more rows, and then you're going to do 4 here, so that's our 4 granny clusters. And then we're going to do another one here in this chain space. Oh, running out of slack. Like that. And then you just continue around like we were before, working clusters into the chain spaces. Like that. All the way around. Join as you did before by doing another treble into this starting chain space and then slip stitching on, and then you can slip over, you can join your next colour in here in this chain space and work up again, and you're going to continue doing that for the kind of the stocking part of your actual stocking, and in total you're going to need 13, I think. Should we just check? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 in total, including your starting. So you want 14 rows before we come on to the top. So I'll do a couple and then I'll join you back in a sec to show you how to do the top. Okay, so I've just done my second row of the granny stitches. I'm going to join to my starting chain 3. There we go. Okay, so as I say, you should have, what was it, 14 of these. I've got 2 just for speed purposes today. Really simply, the next thing you're going to do is just do a row of trebles. So we're going to chain 3 from where we are. That's our first stitch. Then we're going to work into the next stitch here and do a treble, and then again a treble. So you're just working trebles all the way around to get a base for doing our back post and our front post stitches in just a second. So trebles all the way around. I'll join you in a sec when we've done that. There we go. So trebles all the way around. I'm going to join to the top of my starting chain 3. There we go. And then you're going to change over back to your cream coloured yarn. So in fact, what I can do, if I go back a step, if I pull that green back out, if we join with our white, that'd be a bit easier, wouldn't it, Dana? Right, there we go. So we can join back in with the white for the top of the slip stitch, and then we've got our white ready to go for the final row. So for the final row, we're going to be working post stitches. So for post stitches, you don't work into the top of the stitch, you work around it. So we're going to do a chain 3, and then this next stitch that we're going to come to, we're going to work a back post treble crochet. So we're going to come down, we're going to work around the back of the stitch like that, and make a treble crochet. Get rid of that tail, doesn't confuse matters. Then for the next one, we're going to do a front post treble crochet. So we're going to come around the front of the post and do a stitch. And then for the next one again, we're going to come down and go around the back of the post to make a stitch, and then around the front of the post. So you're alternating a back post treble crochet with a front post treble crochet all the way around, which starts to give you this kind of look like that, which is what forms the ribbing. So what you do is you pile front post treble crochets on top of each other and back post treble crochets on top of each other, and it gives you this nice kind of stretchy ribbing, which I like to use for cuffs and all sorts of things. So I'll join you back at the end of the row and just show you how to start the next row, and then we're nearly done. Lovely, so I've got all the way around doing my front and my back post treble crochet. So this is a front post treble crochet, and then I'm going to do a back post treble crochet around the last post, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my starting chain 3, like that. Lovely. And then to continue up, like I say, you have to put the same stitches on top of each other. So you can see we've got a chain 3 here, so I'm going to do my chain 3, and then this is a back post treble crochet. So I've come around the back of the post to make one, and then this is a front post treble crochet, so I'm going to go around the front of the post to make one, and then again a back post treble crochet. So all you're doing is you're doing exactly the same stitch in the same place that you did on the previous row, and as I say, it starts to give you this kind of ribbing effect. So you're going to continue all the way around doing your front and back post treble crochets, and then I'll just show you how to make the hanging loop, and then that'll be it. See you in a sec. Okay, so I've gone around for my second row all the way around doing the same stitches on top of each other, front and back post treble crochets. As I come back round to my starting chain 3, I'm going to slip stitch into the starting chain 3, so in total you're going to want 5 of these rows. I've only done 2 for demonstration purposes, but you want 5. Then when you've joined on your 5th row, you're going to chain 18, and then you're going to slip stitch back into the base like that. Oh no, dropped it. Let's try that again. Slip stitch back into the base, there we go, and that's your hanging loop. So then you can snip and fasten off. Then you've just got to weave in all your ends. I've got a slightly odd looking half stocking here, but this is what you're going to end up with when you're finished. There we go, nice and easy. They're really cute, and you can do them in any colours that you like. Lovely, thanks very much for watching. See you soon, bye.